SUPERFANATICS, comic books, friends, fun discussion, video show. SUPERFANATICS, 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 comic books, friends, fun discussion, video show.
Welcome to Super Fanatics.
Episode 12. Today we are continuing with the Christmas spirit, and we're going to be talking about Moon Knight, Silent Night, with a K because they're clever and stuff like that. So, just to jump right in, this is a one-shot comic. For those of you that are unfamiliar, a one-shot means it is one comic. There is no continuation of it. It is just like a single story in one issue.
Yeah, they can take place within like a particular volume. Like this one is during Moon Knight Volume 3, but as he said, there's no continuation of this story in particular.
It's kind of like an isolated incident, if for lack of a better term.
You could say from the pages of
Whatever.
Moon Knight,
Silent Night.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah.
So this particular one-shot is written by Peter Milligan. He also worked on Shade the Changing Man for Vertigo Comics. We just did Shade the Changing Girl. He's also worked on Hellblazer, which I believe is Constantine, right? Hellblazer. And is currently working on The Mummy for, what is it, Dynamite?
Oh, it's one of those.
It's one of the...
But it's actually, it's in conjunction with Hammer.
That's right, yeah. The Hammer Mummy.
So that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I'm going to try and find that myself.
Should be pretty sweet.
Yeah. And then you got art by Lawrence Campbell, who's done Deadpool Pulp and Wolverine versus the Marvel Universe, and is, I guess, most well known for a comic called 2000 AD.
Then we've got colors by Lee Luridge. As Nick said earlier, this particular comic takes place during Moon Knight Volume 3, and it is particularly after the events of issue 24.
Yeah.
Which I haven't read, so I don't know what happened in issue 24, but...
just for some reference, that's where it falls.
Yeah, so you can, read Volume 3 and figure it out.
Yeah. So this one, it starts you out right away with some bad stuff going down during the Christmas season. On Christmas Eve, I suppose, is when this one takes place in particular. You have a department store or a mall Santa Claus who is unfortunately trying to be taught a lesson by two gangsters, two low-level gangsters they seem like, and they go into the store to kind of rough him up a little bit, and one of them, I guess, gets a little out of hand and ends up killing the guy.
Yeah.
Merry Christmas.
Blows his face right off. I
Yeah.
mean, it doesn't show it, but I like to think. So then the two guys, kind of run off, and this is where, the most of your comic here is Moon Knight pursuing these two criminals, but then every couple pages you are given the perspective switches, and you go to Marlene's perspective. Now Marlene is somebody who's been dating Moon Knight, or Mark Spector, for a while now. He's kind of like the Mary Jane to his Peter Parker.
She's a classic staple in the Mark Spector verse.
Yeah. So for the remainder of the comic, you just get these nice, like, Moon Knight instances with, like, a little violence and, trying to hunt down these criminals, these two guys that killed Santa Claus. And then you have Marlene back at their apartment cooking a Christmas dinner and sort of just, like, trying to cope with the fact that Mark is gone a lot. And, what does she deserve?
Right.
She deserves more than this.
Yeah. So it bounces back and forth between kind of two stories running parallel then, and when the guys run out of the department store into the alley to get to their getaway vehicle, they see that Moon Knight has carved a big moon into the hood.
Yeah, that was super cool.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
It also bears mentioning that, as we spoke about before the last time we did Moon Knight is guided by, haunted by, controlled by this Egyptian god, Khonshu.
The source of his power, the moon god.
The one who brought him back to life when he was killed in Egypt, however, during the beginning of his whole character.
Back in the old mercenary days of Mark Spector.
Yeah, the mercenary days. So along with Mark or Moon Knight chasing down these criminals, you also get some dialogue between Mark's manifestation of Khonshu, because Mark has issues, and those issues manifest in Khonshu talking to him and kind of trying to fuck with him.
Mm-hmm. And part of the struggle of this particular one shot for Mark Spector, for Moon Knight, is him trying to sort out in his mind, I guess his wants and desires as a person, not the Moon Knight character, but on the level of Mark Spector himself. He is also kind of longing for normalcy, and he's kind of wondering whether or not that's something that he can ever have. And so this back and forth with Khonshu that is happening as he's chasing down these criminals, it plays on that dynamic where Khonshu's kind of tugging him in the direction of saying, no, you can never have those normal things. It's not for you. You're crazy,
There's a really good scene, and, Khonshu's kind of pulling him the whole time. He's definitely pulling him, but there's one particular instance where Mark is standing outside of an apartment, and there's a couple inside, and they're kind of cozying up for Christmas. They have a Christmas tree, and everything's all nice. They're wearing sweaters and things like that, and Mark kind of stops to observe them, and Khonshu is, behind him saying, like, why are you even looking? Like, you can't have this. This isn't your life. You have a life of vigilance. You are a defender. You need to take down the criminals. And it's less inspiring than it sounds, really, because Khonshu just kind of wants him to kill people.
Yeah.
But
he's trying to convince him that even a moment's thought in that direction of normalcy is like a wasted moment.
Yeah, because his sole purpose is to do Khonshu's bidding, really, and to hunt down whoever he's told to hunt down, and that kind of thing. I don't know. It's a really good story. It's a nice one shot.
It is. It's a good story. It's very compact. Obviously you just get one issue here, but I would say that it's one worth reading if you're a Moon Knight fan, and if you like these kind of themed books where there's a certain reason for it being put out. Like you've got your Christmas themed Moon Knight book in this one, but it's not goofy. It doesn't feel like a forced Christmas story. It's just, here's what it would be like to be Moon Knight on Christmas, and here's what it would be like to be someone who is intimately connected with him in life on Christmas. And in that respect, it's actually pretty somber. It's there's one part of it in particular that I found to be like the saddest panel in the book, and that was when Marlene is trying on, or she's putting on her dress, getting ready for him to come home. It's just like, it feels very, you just feel very sorry for her.
Yeah, I felt that way throughout the whole book, especially, when she is... Well, there were two times where I was just like, oh, fuck. Mm-hmm. But it was like when she's making the turkey. Yeah. And she's just telling herself, like, oh, he's just late. He's only a little late because he stopped to get me a gift. Yeah. He stopped off to get me flowers. Whatever it is. And then later in the book, it was pretty crushing to me. I don't know. I kind of don't want to spoil it.
Are you thinking of the very end?
Yeah, when they, and then she,
the ending is pretty bad.
Yeah, it just sucks. It just sucks.
It's one of those where you're just like, man,
nothing's good for this character
Yeah.
ever. Moon Knight, and that's part of what I like about Moon Knight is that he just like goes through the shit all the time, and it's different than how Batman goes through the shit, I think, or at least Mark seems to go through it on a more constant basis, and it's always really bad.
Yeah, because even Mark Spector's like, persona when he's not being Moon Knight, he's not anywhere near as successful as like Bruce Wayne is.
Right.
I know we've talked about the comparison between the two before, and I understand it, but they're very different. They're different people, and the characters are fairly different as well, because Batman is not motivated by a moon god from Egypt, telling him what to do.
No, but sometimes he's portrayed as being motivated by a giant monster bat.
No, yeah.
So, but yeah, I mean, they are very different characters, but I bring it up because I feel like Moon Knight is very close to the Batman of the Marvel Universe. There are some versions of Moon Knight, or some points in his timeline where he's very wealthy, and he does have a lot of like cool toys and things that he uses in battle, and I think that kind of sets him apart from a lot of people in the Marvel Universe and bears resemblance to Batman.
Yeah.
But another thing about this particular book, if you look at it, it's kind of like it really kind of brings in a bit of a sympathy for people in real life, or heroes in real life that have to work on Christmas, like policemen or firefighters, or if you're active military and you're kind of off on duty or on mission or whatever. It mirrors that in a way.
Or even someone who might have to work at a gas station or something, anywhere really. I think the service thing, those jobs come to mind first, because you think of them being kind of like the analog to superheroes in real life.
Yeah.
But really, the Marlene section, I'm sure that many people can relate to it. Anyone who has to see a loved one go out the door and go and work on Thanksgiving or on Christmas, where your job doesn't allow you the time off, it'd be a lonely feeling, and so that's what you kind of explore in this book a little bit.
Yeah. So I don't know. It's to talk about a one shot is it's kind of short. The last thing I wanted to mention is I do love this cover.
Yeah, the cover is great, and I like the artwork on the inside as well. It's a bit more of like the messier style.
Yeah.
But I think that works well when you're dealing with kind of like that gritty, street level superhero.
I agree.
Like Moon Knight is.
Yeah.
Because Alex Maylev, I believe, he's done a lot of stuff on Daredevil throughout the years, and his style is very similar to this, where it makes you feel like you're down and dirty. You're down there on the streets with them.
He did that run of Moon Knight though with I think with Brian Michael Bendis, right?
Yeah, I think that actually was him.
Yeah, that was so. Not to take the spotlight away from that from Silent Knight, but check out Brian Michael Bendis and Alex Maylev's Moon Knight volumes. I don't know what volume it is.
I think that was the one that came after this.
It's following after Ultron. It picks up after, there must have been some sort of event where Ultron came back, and it kind of picks up after that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I opposite the Krampus last week, I think the art styles are kind of similar, but I enjoy it in this book more, and I didn't mind the sort of messy, unkeptness of the work, and I liked it. I think very noir, and it does very much work for this character.
Yeah.
So, that is Moon Knight, Silent Night. Come back next week for Snicked Old Man Logan. And yeah, I guess.
And if we can't find Old Man Logan again, then we'll figure it out. Do we have anything on deck? Maybe if we don't get around to it.
If we don't get around to Old Man Logan, we have the comic book adaptation of Heir to the Empire, which we were talking about doing in conjunction with the release of Star Wars Rogue One. So excited about that. So tune in next week and see what you get. Until then, I'm Bender.
I'm Nicholas.
Have a good one. Bye.
Superfanatics, superfanatics, superfanatics. Comic books, friends, fun discussion, video show.